What's going on, everybody? Meteorologist Frank Gaetano here with our daily hail forecast, as always sponsored by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor Show, and Atlas Roofing. Thank you guys for sponsoring these videos. You can find their Facebook pages in the link linked in the description of this video. So we've had a decent month when it comes to storms, but we are going to be going out like a lamb here in June, as we do have a quiet day in store, and the pattern doesn't look very favorable moving forward. We do have a risk tomorrow that we will actually talk about, a couple areas to watch for tomorrow, but still a marginal risk in terms of that as well. But we do have some tropics to talk about. We'll get into the tropical check-in. Could we possibly see our second named storm of the season at the middle to end of this week? We'll have to take a look at that later in the video. So hopping into yesterday's storm reports, wasn't a very active day, so we did see some scattered wind reports, a tornado report, scattered wind reports here across the East Coast, and then also out west down in Arizona, we did have, these are all sub-severe reports, so we didn't really see a lot of crazy activity, but they did have some sub-severe wind going on down there, and also a sub-severe hail report in the Phoenix area as well, and like I said, the scattered reports across the East Coast as well. So where's that going to put us for the year? So like I said, yesterday was pretty quiet, only one tornado report, 4 large hail reports, and 38 high wind reports. And then for year to date, we're actually doing pretty good. We don't like to see the high tornado report numbers, so we're sitting at 989 for the tornado report numbers. But large hail, we're 4,700. That's actually not too bad. It's better than last year. You'll see last year's numbers here in a second. And this is a crazy number, 12,000 high wind reports. So we're getting a lot of wind this year, especially compared to last year. So we're looking at 764 for the tornado reports at this time last year, year to date. We're well above the hail report number, 1,100 over that, as they were sitting at 3,600 last year. And we get into the winds, 7,400. So we are almost 5,000 wind reports ahead of last year. It's been a lot of high winds in the storms going on this year. 12,000. That's a pretty big number. Current conditions around the country, pretty nice across most of the country. We do have some shower activity associated with a cold front along the East Coast that's pulling back towards the southwest. So there's a cold front moving off the coast today. So there's shower activity associated with that. And then we also have some activity going on down here in the southern plains, some more shower activity that's going to move its way eastward throughout the day. But like I said, beautiful across most of the country, and we've been really hot lately. Today is gorgeous. We're looking at 70s across most of the central part of the country, only down in the 80s in Texas. We are seeing 96 in Houston, but it's generally very nice across most of the country, and it's dry too. This is different than what we've been seeing the past week with all that moisture in the central part of the country. This isn't great for severe weather, but if you like the nice weather, you know, a little bit of a cool down, a little bit of a break to get outside and do some stuff and have it not be crazy muggy, this is what you're looking at, and this is what you're looking for. We do still see some 60s and 70s and dew points in the southeast, but it's dry across most of the country. As I said earlier, things are looking quiet for today. No severe hail or wind is expected, so we're going to hop right into the forecast radar for tomorrow. So this is one of the risk areas we're looking at for tomorrow, as we see storms starting to pop up in the mid-afternoon hours in northern Wisconsin. Those storms are going to be tracking southward throughout the day, bringing some hail and wind chances across northern, central, and possibly as far south as southern Wisconsin tomorrow. So we're going to be looking out for that. If those storms can actually stay isolated, then we can get enough instability to see any large hail or severe winds with those storms. And also, we got a risk out in Montana for tomorrow. This is not going to be really for hail. There's not going to be very much instability for the updrafts to be very good and to support large hail. But we could see some gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour with some of these isolated cells that track eastward throughout the late afternoon and evening hours. So wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour possible across portions of Montana. So we're going to take a look at what that looks like graphically. Here's where we're looking at for hail tomorrow. Like I mentioned, northern, central, and southern Wisconsin. We're going to see a couple of the cities here. pretty low-end chances for across the board for this. We need those storms to actually get enough instability and stay isolated to see this large hail tomorrow, but low-end chances for Eau Claire, La Crosse, and possibly as far south as Madison, Wisconsin for hail. So this is what the wind's going to look like. We're going to zoom back in on Wisconsin here, take a look at those cities. Pretty much the same general area. Low-end chances for Eau Claire, La Crosse, and Madison, as those storms are going to be tracking south and southeastward throughout the afternoon and early evening hours. And then we're going to go back out west, a couple of cities to mention here in Montana, as those storms are going to start just to the west of Great Falls and southwest of Great Falls and track eastward throughout the afternoon and evening hours. Low-end chance for Great Falls and a low-end chance for Billings, Montana. So hopping into moving ahead to mid and later portions of the week, here's what the jet stream is looking like. We do see a very broad trough just north of the CONUS that's going to be pushing eastward, and we're getting into Tuesday here. This is Wednesday. I do think we could see some storms on Wednesday. It's a pretty conditional risk as it stands right now, but we do have a little bit of troughing here that can cause some forcing to see some storms through Minnesota back to the southwest through the northern plains. So we're going to be looking at that for possibility on Wednesday, but then moving forward, possibly on Thursday, we see this little wiggle here. We might see something in the very northern part of the country, but it could also just be in Canada as well. So we'll have to see how that plays out. And then moving forward, things get pretty zonal across the country. I think the weather is going to shut off again towards the latter half of the week. And we do see a trough sitting off of the coast here in the Pacific Northwest. Hopefully that can start to dig in once we get towards the end of June into the beginning of July next week. So we'll have to see how this looks moving forward. But I do have one area to highlight here in our look-ahead forecast for Wednesday. As I mentioned, northern Minnesota back to the southwest into portions of North Dakota and South Dakota for your Wednesday. I know, we want to see storms in Colorado too, don't worry. Fingers crossed for you guys out there. So this is what we're looking at for Wednesday, and we're going to move ahead to our tropical outlook. We actually have to use this, so it's been a while. We are in hurricane season, so they got to turn on eventually. So we have one area to watch in the Gulf. It's pretty low-end possibilities. We do have a disturbance tracking southwestward into the northwestern portions of the Gulf of Mexico. 10% chance of this forming anything in the next 2 days, and only a 20% chance within the next 5 days, so not really high-end chances for that. But if we go back down to the southeast, back into the Atlantic, we do have a pretty high possibility of seeing our second named system of this tropical season. 70% chance in the next 2 days and 90% chance over the next 5 days as this this disturbance tracks westward into the Caribbean. So we could see, I think it's Bonnie is the next one, and then 0% chance over the next 2 days for this disturbance out here that's going to be tracking westward, and only 20% chance in the next 5 days. But we could be seeing our next named system, which, yes, it is Bonnie. So here's our list. We've already had Alex, Bonnie's next, and then Colin. So let's hope that we can get Bonnie this week in the Caribbean and see where she can track over the next week or so. But until then, make sure you follow us and stay in contact with us. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. We are at HailTrace for all of those. If you want to get in contact with us, you can call us at 855-334-4245. Email us at info@hailtrace.com, or just go to our website, www.hailtrace.com, for more about who we are and what we can do for you. Until then, I'm meteorologist Frank Gaetano. Everybody have a great rest of your Monday.